Welcome to TradeTheMBA.com. This is John's reports for the 6th, and well, we've got a little bit of softness after the previous day's decline. Let me increase the size of this so it makes it easier to see where we're at. There we go. Almost a little dip here of the magenta below yellow. That would be continued softness. We're still caught between cyan and red with the DOC orange, so that's a continuation, which means we're still holding um, the upspin, but obviously it's showing a little softness, and we have a DOC still dipping below cyan. So we finally have that on the S&P, and that creates a setup for return of short-term buyers. So shakeout still in the negative territory. Yesterday we were at the -2. We're looking at -3, so that would be a negative turn. That would be a very serious situation at this particular stage because, as we talked about, you need that shakeout continuation to be into the positive side. So we look to it from the NQ version of it. We went from 1.1 to the 1.0. So the NQ is still maintaining that positivity with the rising gold. Should be enough to stave things off. We're just getting a little fill back in from the up day. Still no real major short activity yet. But that could change pretty quick because it's not going to take much to dip below your 33 level, and that would set up a stronger sell action. When we look at it from a treasury standpoint, we're still caught in this, rates a little bit too high relative to where they should be given what the situation is, but you're not getting any support from the Fed. So it's sort of like, too bad, deal with it. Oil coming back off of that initial slide, and again, this gets into what they're talking about with shale, and it's all the end is near. Remember, we've heard for 40 years that oil production has peaked, and it never has. So go figure that one. But now for sure it has. So there, you can believe that one. However. Important that it's resistance against the 23% stays, because without that, if you do get that crossover buy, you're just not going to hurt things, but you were starting to get into an area down at these levels that you will have a material impact on growth, and it would be a positive, particularly as tariffs start to really take a bite into lag time in production. So it could have a serious impact. So if they're able to keep that under control, then all will be good. Now, the euro's holding up just fine with this because they just don't like Trump and might as well have a euro. Gold's still expecting this massive inflationary push from the tariffs. And so the longer it goes without, announced deals and things like that, the more skittish they get, the more justification they have for that kind of run. So get used to that. Bitcoin and that is also going to rise and fall based on those kinds of speculations. Of course, you've got rising gold with it. Even though you're in a sell configuration, this should keep it rather contained as far as the dip. ETH still doing nothing. I mean, it's just fun to have it now against Bitcoin because you can see the disparity difference in it. And we'll expand our 50K here so we get a nice close look at that. And we ended up with NBI white spike to start yesterday, but it held off that with the magenta tipping back above. But then we get the secondary one, and when you get that secondary one, it's going to follow through, particularly when you have NBI magenta crossing under 25. That was death knell right there when that took place. You knew where things were headed, and broke through the 50% without any problem. Should make it to the zero. Even if they hold up, you would still expect to see that. And if you don't see it, then, well, I would expect we're going to get a strong turnaround from it. So it'll be critical to watch where this develops going on through the day. We're already at a pretty extreme level here from a DOC reading, -18. It's not horrible, -20, 23. You definitely are going to get a bounce. So keep that one in mind. I'm watching the orange here. If you dip below 7.5, that's definitely a cover point, particularly if you start to see any turnaround. So that's kind of the general marker there. But if you get a pivot back up before then definitely we're hitting the zero and probably breaking through it without any effort whatsoever. And what it looked like from the intraday, you had the nice run up, and then of course they just sold it all off. And again, just obliterating options back and forth. continue to do the same, but that softness has bled through into the post-market. No excitement in the European session, and it's continued to be weak and still weak. So that's the long and the short of it. Of course, we popped over to the teams now at MBI Traders, so that's where you can find us, and that's where this will be. But you can always do it on the Trade the MBI website as well, and or even just the YouTube channel, Trade the MBI now. Have a good one. Trade well.